You know what I really love about PRS is that they still look the same as they did in like 1985, but every year since then they get like 1% better, and they're always pushing forward. And it might be a small thing here and a small thing there, but every year it's just that tiny little bit better. Whereas there's a lot of other companies that look the same from a distance as they did back in 1958, 1951, whatever. But they kind of get a little bit worse each year. Sometimes they go up a little bit and then they come back down, and they come back up and then it gets to 2015 and they go way down. But PRS, they're just consistent. They're always getting a little bit better. And I think that says a lot about the brands and about Paul. I just really love PRS. And, there's some people that when they were growing up, say if you were growing up in the 70s, or there's that iconic kind of Marshall into Gibson into a Marshall thing, or maybe if you're growing up a bit later, you had like the Kramers and the Charvels into like some mad rack system. But for me, when I was growing up, it was the Custom 22, Custom 24 into a rectifier, and that's always going to be like a big part of me and a big part of my sound and a big part of my influence. So everybody's talking about the new 2024 PRS models, and I think they cheated in a way, because what they've done is they've updated the tuning pegs. They've updated the tuning pegs across the entire line. They've got rid of their old ones, and this is what they're using now. These are the Phase 3, the new ones that are supposed to look like the 12th fret bird. And the way that they've cheated is because they've got rid of the old tuning pegs and they've brought out these new ones across the entire line. Now they can say, oh, this is the new 2024 McCarthy 594 or the new 2024 Custom 24, because it's got the new tuning pegs, which is kind of clever. And also, what I do want to say is I'm kind of disappointed in myself, because I just recently, in the last hour or so, I watched Paul's video on the new tuning pegs, and he described the emotions that people are going to go through. He predicted it. He said people are going to hate it. They're going to think it's the worst thing they've ever seen. It's ruining the look of the guitar. Then they're going to get to the point where they just don't really like it, and then they're going to get to a point where, oh, they love it. When I first saw is it the NF53 or the Miles Kennedy one, whichever one's got the tuners already, back when it was released, that was what put me off the guitar, because I hated it. I thought it was the worst thing they could have done. Like, any other tuners literally would have looked better. And then I disliked them. And then the more I've been looking at them, the more I kind of love them. And because he's explained like the heritage where they come from, they come from the original drawings from the original guitar. I think he's been really clever about the way it's been released, because he brought them out earlier just in a couple of models, and now we've all got to that point where, well, at least I have, and I'd assume other people have as well, where they don't mind the look of these new tuners. And it's weird to make a video just talking about tuners, but this is where we are. I think another way that I got sort of eased into it as well is when I saw him in black, because I don't think they don't stand out so much in black, and you can kind of get used to it a bit more. But I don't think they're using the black on many models. I know they're using it on the Floyd's Custom 24 model, but I'm not sure about anything else. But I know that they're doing certain models with the creamy ivory colour, and then some with the black. Another change that they've made this year is they've decided to get rid of the lock-in tuners for anything that doesn't have a tremolo. So anything hardtail, fixed bridge, they're going to have the standard tuners. I wish that they hadn't made that change, because I like lock-in tuners. I try and put them on anything, even if it's got a lock-in nut, just for the convenience of string changes. I think it's a step backwards, and that's a shame to see. But something I wish they would have changed this year would have been to bring back some kind of variant of the Custom 24 with a hardtail, because at the moment, all you can get is a version with the tremolo. There's a Floyd Rose version as well, just over here. And there was always that option of having the version with the hardtail or with the tremolo, but they've taken that away. They took away the Custom 22, fair enough, but to take away the hardtail version as well is a bit much, because now if I want some kind of Custom 22, Custom 24 with a hardtail variation like this, the closest I can get is the McCarthy model, which is kind of cool because I like the switching system. It's got the fixed bridge, but it's the one where you can't adjust the intonation. It's got the thicker body. It's got the 25-inch scale length, which is cool. And now they've got rid of the traditional looking tuners, and they've added these new 12th fret bird style tuners, which is cool. And then if we have a look at the colour options on the McCarthy, yeah, there's nothing really there that I would go with. I'd like to see emerald green come back. I'd like to see maybe Ariza Verde or Jade. I'm really into the greens, basically. Or vintage yellow. I would love to see more PRS guitars in vintage yellow, because for me that's the ultimate PRS colour, and that doesn't seem to be a thing anymore, which is a shame. I think the closest we can get is this McCarty Sunburst, which isn't the same, but it's as close as we can get right now. But I can't be so pleased on one hand that they're always pushing forward and making these changes, and at the same time, on the other hand, be disappointed that they're making these changes and taking away the options that I like. Oh, by the way, this is my custom 22. I've had this for about 20 years now. It's emerald green. I've made a few modifications over the years. I've got hip shot locking tuners, a brass nut, taken out the Dragon 2 in the bridge and put a Tremonti in there. It's got this Goto wraparound bridge with the insonatable saddles. I don't know if you can see that, but that's something I'd like to change back to the original, because I think it kind of ruins the look. So the main point of this video was for me to ask you this question, and that is, what do you think about these new tuning pegs? Are you going through that kind of cycle of emotion that Paul predicted, or do you just hate them, or was it love at first sight? Because I'd be really interested to know what other people are thinking about this. You know, it seems like a small thing, but the aesthetics of a guitar is what makes you want to pick it up. It's what makes you want to go and try it out. It's what makes you want to buy it online before even testing it out. So it is a big deal. It's not as small as you may think initially. And don't you think it's so strange how like such a small thing on a guitar can change the overall look so drastically, like enough to make you want to say, no, that's not for me. I think that's quite interesting. So if you own a PRS, please tell me about it in the comments, or if you're looking to buy one at the moment, tell me what you're looking to buy. All these guitars have stories behind them, and I'd be really interested to hear yours. And maybe one day I'll make a video about this guitar and tell you about its story, because it's actually quite an unusual one. I made a tier list video recently talking about PRS guitars and their lineup. It was before the new tuners came along, but you can find that video just here. It was just about a week or so ago that I uploaded it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video.